So, you talk about this RTC Cup, and there was a lot of people who I think 6 undefeated wrestlers, Yanni and Vito, as we talked about, looked awesome. Both went 4-0 undefeated. Your boy Trent Hidley
Oh
also
yeah.
undefeated.
Oh yeah.
I think he was the
Sickly
only.
good.
I think he was the only guy who went 5-0. I believe so. Correct.
I don't know. I'd have to look
So
that up.
I
But
think
I
he's.
believe it. But I believe it.
Let's get him on because he'll know what we
All
don't
right.
know. Here he is, Trent. How are you?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. So you were 5-0, right? The only one.
Yeah.
Cenzo.
I think I was out of. Yeah, I think I was the only. I think there was a few guys that were maybe 4-0 or 3-0, but I think I was the only guy that wrestled the 5.
Cenzo's very happy to see you.
I'm pretty thrilled. We were texting yesterday, and I was like, "Oh man, let's get Trent on. Like that would be so much fun."
And he was
here we
just
are.
trying to explain
Here we
to
are.
me before we talk about this weekend, which I want to talk about. He was trying to explain to me why your nickname is Hoagy. Can you explain it to me from your perspective?
Yeah. So I think that dates back a few years, pretty much my senior year of high school. I've always kind of had there's like a local hoagie shop in my hometown that me and my family have always gone to, and my brother and I have
Top
gone
tier.
to. And Cenzo's had it before. It's but I've always enjoyed it. And then we've always joking around. We do like this hoagie club where we would get hoagies and pretty much just watch football on the weekends. And then who's number one? My buddy threw me one after the match. I took a bite out of it, and I
remember that now that I think about that.
Yeah, tried to point the hoagie. So that's where that came from.
And by the way, as a marketing guy, I really appreciate where the sport is going. And I saw you tweeting back and forth with Russ Bendick, who I don't really know, but I love the creative stuff he comes up with. And I saw the "We Are Here for the Hoagie" shirt. That 100% needs to happen.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I know. That was awesome. I said after it, I said this would be really badass if the NCAA would let me make some coin off my name. So that was kind of the joke, but that shirt was definitely cool. I really like that.
It's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
I don't know, man.
You don't think it's gonna happen?
Well, sooner rather than later, but like I guess yes, technically sooner rather than later in the grand scheme of time.
It's not going to happen soon enough, but
no.
Hopefully I had an episode with Tony Ramos on where we talked about it, where it's like, Florida, I think, is next year. Some states are like 2025. It's going to be a while, but okay. So let's talk about this weekend. I heard something about, like, before we talk about your performance, I heard there was like an insane travel build up to it. What happened with that?
It was a wild journey. Pretty rough situation at first. So I was planning, to be on the guy and go to the RTC Cup, right? I've been training for it with the team and stuff, and the RTC guys. Went home for Thanksgiving, and the day before, someone I was in close contact with tested positive on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So that kind of, and when that happened, I had to quarantine for 14 days because that was kind of the guidelines. So that would put me out of the competition. So that was kind of rough because I was looking forward to it and everything, and to kind of have it taken away, it was pretty disappointing. So when I started the quarantine, my brother actually wasn't in contact with the person, so he drove back to Raleigh to get tested and stuff. And then he had a few days before they left. So it was just me at my house, and I was just kind of thinking I was out of it. I was trying to figure out any way I could make it work. Probably the trainers at NC State were probably getting a little sick of me because I was constantly messaging them and stuff. I was like, can I get the antibody test to prove maybe if I've already had it? Can I go independently and kind of like take the liability and stuff for it? They're like, no, there's nothing we can do. You got to do the quarantine. So that happens, and then Tuesday, I actually got a text from Pat, our coach, and it said, "Be ready." And there's an article That was like the CDC's planning on changing the guidelines from 14 days to 7 to 10, 7 with a negative test. And it said they were going to do it soon. And I was like, well, this is pretty much going to have to come out tomorrow because I was like, I don't know how soon they're planning on doing this because it was already Tuesday. And Wednesday, I was planning on going to Raleigh that weekend just to get back and stuff. So I actually we have like a local testing site, and I sat in line for about 2 hours to just get like another test.
Oh my gosh.
And right as I'm getting this text, I get a call from the trainer. He's like, hey, listen, the CDC changed the guidelines. If you can get a negative test within 24 hours, then you're going to be good to go. Meanwhile, the weigh-ins for this tournament literally begin in like, I don't know, 36 hours. So I like sprint home. My dad and I are like calling everybody we can. We can't get anything. Like, there's no way we can get a test within 24 hours. Like, everything's like 2 to 7 days. Yeah. So we're trying to figure everything out. We can't get anything. So we're talking to the NC State trainers. They're like, if you can get down here, we can get a test, so we can do like the rapid testing and get it back to you in a day. So my dad's like, okay, get in the car, we're going. And at this point, it's like 5 p.m. So we get into the car, we drive to Raleigh, we get in at about midnight, wake up kind of early, get my test, and as soon as I got my test done, got back in the car, drove another 8 hours to Cincinnati. And just prayed for a negative test, because if I got down there and I had a positive test, then that would have been pretty devastating. But yeah, we got into Cincinnati at about 4:15, and the Wolfpack RTC was at the workout area, so I met him there, and I pretty much waited there to get my test, and it came in negative, and then I got my workout in. So it was pretty high stress. I felt like I was gonna puke the whole way to Cincinnati because I was stressed about the result. But yeah, thankfully it got good. And to make it even crazier, my dad, who did all the driving, so we drove 7 hours to Raleigh, 8 hours to Cincinnati, and then when my test was negative, he drove all the way back to PA, which is another, I don't know, 7.5 hours at night. So
That's wild.
Warrior. That's a wrestling dad right there.
Right, that's wrestling dad definition.
Yeah. That's a wrestling dad right there. All right, so just like real quick, so you really weren't, you're quarantined and everything like for a while leading up to it. Can you like talk about just like your mindset going into the tournament then? Like you didn't look like you're like, oh, I haven't been training or anything like that. Like You look like that you were not even that you were there just to like hang and try to like be close with those guys, but you were actively trying to score on, and beat everyone you were wrestling. So like I thought it was really cool. Yeah, but just like talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
it was
mindset.
So we actually had there was pretty good training leading up to it. In Raleigh, we had a pretty good cycle, and I was able to work with a lot of RTC guys. So I felt real good going into it. And then obviously when I had the quarantine, I couldn't get on the mats at all. So my plan was really just to try to just stay in good shape and do some conditioning workouts and do anything I really could. And I think that was good because whenever I did get the opportunity, I was still ready to go. I think mindset wise, I think I was just ready to compete either way. I knew it was kind of crazy circumstances, and that, I'd been traveling a lot. I hadn't really been on the mat, but I think I was just confident in the training we had up to that. And I knew that the first match might be a little rusty, but then once I got going, I'd be feeling pretty good. But I think I as those matches were going on, I was getting a lot of confidence in what I was doing. And it was really electric to be able to do it with the team because, being on a team with guys like Gwiz and Mock and Tommy Gann, guys that had come before me and wrestled at NC State, was really exciting for me. And I think I kind of wanted to put it on the line for those guys because there was a little money involved for them. So, my performance was gonna help them out. So I think I got a lot of confidence from that. And once you string a few wins together against tough guys, you start to, kind of get in the groove.
For sure.
Let me ask you this, because, you're kind of like the unofficial OW, because I don't know, do they have an official OW?
I don't think they did. I don't think they
They
announced anything.
didn't, and it's
Here,
like,
we'll give it to you right now.
yeah,
Trent
we'll
wins
give it
DOW.
you like
I'll
100%.
take it.
Congrats,
You
man.
you like
I'll send you a
dominated
jersey, Mike sub.
So like you dominated the field, and my favorite match, or at least in anticipation wise, was you and Miles, because I can't remember the order of it all. It's kind of all blur, but like Miles texts Nate Jackson, who's been on an absolute tear. Teching people, doubling people into stadiums next door to where they're competing, and then you go beat him 4-3. And that was like the match for me, which was like, man, like I'm texting people like, man, Trent's like a competitor at 86.
Man, I might be for real, huh?
Like he's like for
not just for real, but just like the attitude behind your wrestling.
Right. I mean, like 5 guys: Dom Abinator, Brett Favre, not the Green Bay quarterback, Sammy Brooks, Miles Ameem, Drew Foster. Like you beat guys of like a great caliber, and all together. What you see a lot of people talking in this sport about when people just put together a good tournament or they go on a good run. Do you think this was you just having a good weekend, or do you think, because a lot of people are still newer to you, you're a young guy, you're going into your sophomore season?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a younger guy. Do you think this is what people should expect of you moving forward?
Yeah, I think, I think when you're talking about, having a good tournament, I think this was kind of, I guess more of kind of what I was looking at of myself and stuff I've been training on, and kind of to all see that come together, I think was fun for me. And I think I was getting confidence from that, like I said, as the matches were going on, because I see, sometimes the way I wrestle in practice, and I can be kind of open up and stuff, and that hasn't always translated to the mat. And I think this week I did a better job of that. And I think the results obviously spoke for themselves, but I think that's the style of wrestling that I'm best at. So I think to be able to do that was really fun for me.
What are your plans moving forward on the freestyle scene? Because you see it a lot where sometimes somebody will come out for a weekend, they'll do good on freestyle, but because they're in college, they're really focused on folk style. I want to be an NCAA champion. For you, you've wrestled freestyle. You're not new to freestyle. And you won last year's Open at my computer's going nuts. You won last year's Open junior, right?
Yeah.
So like, is your plan still to compete at junior? I mean, here you were competing junior last year, but you just beat the crap out of everybody on the senior level.
Yeah. Well, so I'm actually I'm not eligible for juniors anymore. I'm too old. I'm officially senior level.
So you're not wrestling juniors anymore, is what you're saying.
So you're officially
no juniors.
So let me ask you this, so I don't sound like an idiot. I'm not implying that you're still going junior, but sometimes people take like a break in between because they want to focus on folk style. They want to focus on an NCAA championship. Do you want to go to the last chance qualifier? And do you want to go to the Olympic trials now?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think at the end of the day, I think making an Olympic team is the highest level you can get in wrestling. And I think that's something that I think everyone trains for. I think right now, I think my focus is probably going to shift to folk style because I think you can qualify for the trials by winning NCAA. Yeah. So I'm going to shift my focus to folk style because the NCAAs is kind of the next thing I'm looking at. And then, but I want to compete as much as possible. And, if I have to go to last chance, and I try to win that, win NCAAs, qualify, and, try to make an Olympic team. Why not?
I see Cenzo looking like he wants to ask you a question. He's like, he keeps going to open his mouth. What do you got?
No, I just like the stuff you're saying. I mean, I like Trent, I could ask you questions all day, man. I mean, like one thing that I actually wanted to point out too was like, we've, rolled around like, a decent bit before, and it just looked like, I know we don't want to get super duper technical here, but just like, so you would punch your underhook and run, right? And what I think you did an awesome job was adapting whenever guys would initially defend you. So circling different directions and things like that from there. Is that something you've been working on a lot?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much been there's kind of been two areas of focus of kind of expanding my offense, and the one kind of being like an outside step, and the other is scoring kind of more off a single leg off my underhook, because kind of known for blasting through it to the other side. But when you start wrestling these good guys and they start stopping it, you got to find a way to score a different way. So I think that has been a big area of focus. And like I said, that's what was really exciting about this tournament, is that I was kind of seeing stuff I was working on kind of translate onto the mat, and being able to diversify my underhook stuff was exciting.
Yeah, and like I that's what really impressed me a lot too, was just how you were able to like change off the different things and keep wrestling from that stuff. Completely different topic. If you and Hayden were the exact same size, who would win and why?
Well, why don't you ask him? He's right here.
All right, Hayden, if you and Trent were the exact same size, who would win and why? The why is the most important part.
I think like in terms of like practice room stuff, I just have a way to have some kind of like big brother knowledge on him, and so I think I do all right against him. Right now, giving up this weight, he definitely beats me around, but like I don't know. I think I still have that little bit of like the knowledge edge where I know his wrestling so well that I kind of know how to piss him off at times and can control some things. But too bad.
So the answer is me because I'm his big brother.
The answer is Hayden because big brother syndrome. Got it.
Yeah, well, when you get two guys that wrestle pretty similar, you kind of figure out what they do, and like Hayden said, he knows how to frustrate me. But if we were the same size, he would beat up on me.
You can't say that. Even if it's true, you can't say that.
The next RTC card might have that match now.
I get 5 points to start out, though.
Hayden says he's got 5 points to start out in handicap.
That's all right.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, they allow points in betting.
Matches,
why not?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
If they allow it in betting, they should allow it to wrestle.
In everything. Just in sports in general. Just like football games, anything.
I love it. Well,
that would be interesting if they started making spreads for dual meets and stuff. That would be fun.
Well, we've been talking about that a little bit, and I'm gonna see if hopefully we can continue to pursue that. Maybe work something with some people, pretty popular people that work in the sports industry that came out with the sports book
wrestling needs gambling.
We need it. Yeah, we need it.
Even if you don't gamble yourself, wrestling just needs the ability to see, hey, this guy's a 5-1 favorite. Hey, this guy's favored by 4 points. Hey, bet on this guy getting a pin. Hey, bet on this prop. Like, wrestling's such an electric sport. I think it would bring more. If you can bet on golf, you should be able to bet on wrestling. Come on.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. Cenzo, what do you got?
That's really it for me. I mean, we don't really need to dive into cold cuts versus hot subs because it's cold cuts all day.
I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
I don't know.
Call him a sub though. I guess.
Well, you're a Hoagy guy. Like,
a hot meatball sub.
Meatball sub. If it's hot, I guess.
Well, there you go.
I don't know. I'm not the Hoagy guy. It's him. So.
But debating hot subs, if you debate a hot meatball sub versus a cold cut Hoagy, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can always, I don't know. You can always do like the toasted version of the cold cut and melt the cheese on it and make it a hot. You can make it a hot Hoagy, but
a hot Hoagy.
I tend to go with just like the regular.
Don't give him any Snapchat username ideas.
Hot Hoagy.
Oh, man. All right, Trent, thank you so much for taking the time. Congrats on a great performance this weekend. Congrats on us officially naming you OW of the first RTC Cup.
Congrats on OW, Trent.
You deserved it. Raise the roof.
I'll raise the roof to that.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you for joining, and you'll have to come back on
Thank
soon.
you, guys.
Thanks, Trent.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate
Awesome,
it.
man. See ya.
Oh, yeah.